Okay. You guys haven't heard from me for a while, and I wanted to kind of tell you why. Well, in the beginning of the year, you all know that there's a documentary being made, and what happened is that I fell in love with the director of the documentary, and you might be wondering, why do we need to hear this? Well, at least that's kind of my fear, that people will have this judgment about me, that why would you share this? But so I hope you can sort of bear with me for a second, if you want to hear this, obviously. So this happened, and I didn't tell anyone, at least not, I didn't tell him, and I didn't go online to tell it. My friends knew. And it was kind of problematic, but because we agreed that I would make video diaries every day and they would follow me. But I kind of felt that part of the project was really to be honest what was happening to me, both in my love life and in general. And so I did record some things about it, but I just didn't give them to the director of the documentary. And after a while, it didn't stop, the being in love. And I didn't know whether he had a girlfriend or not, I wasn't sure. But in February, it kind of, I don't know, he just knew. And so we had to kind of talk about it. And I think we both didn't expect that it would be as problematic as it turned out to be. I think the reason for that is that partly that I had to make video diaries for the person that I liked but that didn't like me back. So I felt really insecure about myself, and I really wanted, I wanted to be safe. Like, I wanted to run off to some island and hide, which, And at the same time, they actually decided that the project itself was, from the beginning, it was like, okay, the documentary will be about kind of bigger questions that are behind doing a project like this. Like, how do you make choices in your life? Are you going to start a family, or are you going to live like a cavewoman? And they wanted to kind of, the moment I actually wanted to have some safety and wanted to have some space for myself, they actually wanted to see more of me. Like, they also wanted to film how I was babysitting in my babysitting family, and how I was doing also, even more as a person. And in general, this project is quite, it's like, it involves all aspects, like I was being filmed in the toilet because I don't use toilet paper, and everything in my kitchen, in my room, all the little details were kind of captured. And all this in itself wouldn't necessarily be a problem, I think, for everyone, but I started to have these judgments about me, that I wasn't interesting enough, or pretty enough, or good enough, or whatever, and that was why my director didn't like me back. And so being watched like everywhere and being taped, and also we weren't sure, the crew wasn't sure what the documentary would be about exactly, like what would be like the main story. So it was the filming itself, and also not knowing what kind of story would grow from it. And I already had been quite vulnerable, having a depression, and sharing this. I also recorded things about that I haven't shown yet, but I felt like extremely insecure, and having all these judgments about myself. And this was actually taking so much energy, and we had to, like, obviously the crew, they wanted to film stuff and move forward, and they wanted to have, I remember one point that I was really like, I wanted to hide, and they wanted to have like 150 pictures of my youth, because that would be funny for the trailer. And yeah, there have been some points where I wanted to quit, and the reason that I continued was that actually two reasons. I promised the people that invested in me that would be documentary, so I wanted to be, stick to my word. And also I think I discovered this year that kind of my biggest value is to be kind of true to yourself, which for me is more than being honest. It's it means that it's being honest in your words, like expressing what's going on and not hiding or but also, like, I guess in your actions. I think being true to yourself is in that sense a bit more than being honest. So I kind of had this feeling that actually this finding it hard to record and having judgments about myself was kind of an interesting theme in itself, and kind of a thing I wanted to learn something about. So